Hey, welcome back to the Hot Slice Podcast. I am your host, Denise Greer, executive editor here at Pizza Today. And with me is editor-in-chief, Jeremy White. Hey, Jeremy, what's up?
Denise, how are you today?
Not too bad. So we are back from Pizza Expo, just rejuvenated,
Yeah,
recharged, excited. I got to tell you, it was the thing that just made me so excited for the industry was getting back to Pizza
yeah,
Expo and hugging my pizza friends.
I know. I know. Hey, it was a banger. I mean, I don't know how many steps we took. I think I just woke up like an hour ago from the day we got back. I mean, it was tiring, but in all the right ways. It was a good show. A lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and yeah, it just got us all pumped up.
Yeah, so now we're rolling into I think May right now, so it's exciting times, and we have a guest on our show that is actually the originator of a style of pizza, and I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite styles. So Detroit
Yeah,
pizza.
me too. Me too.
I love Detroit. Even at Pizza Expo, I mean, seeing the pan division and seeing some of those Detroit pies come out, uh, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're going to talk with Wes Pikula today of Buddies.
Mm-hmm. He's
Buddy's
the
Pizza
chief.
has, what's that?
I said he is the chief marketing officer there with
Yeah,
Buddies, and he has been with Buddies his entire career. I mean,
I know.
entire
That's
career. Like
insane.
started out in the restaurants as a kid, and has been there for 40. What do you say? 46, 47
I
years.
think he said since 1975, which doing my math is 46.
Yeah.
I was born in 1975, Denise, and I'm
Yeah.
46 years old. That's how I did that math so quickly, but it's just amazing to think. And, Wes has always been a proponent for fighting to keep the tradition, keep
Yeah.
the processes in place, to not skimp in any way,
Mhm.
shape, or form on the way Buddies makes a Detroit style pizza. And
Yeah.
a lot of respect for that. A lot of respect for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as as pizza has evolved and we see it around the country, people doing their own variations on Detroit style or adapting their own styles, we're seeing people
Hmm.
combine styles. So maybe we're seeing people look at a grandma and a Detroit and kind of merging those two together. But when you look at the original Detroit style, that's brick cheese, sauce on top, pepperonis under the cheese, kind of, that's the true original, Detroit style. And Buddies, it now has the national recognition for originating the style because they now have
Yeah,
National Detroit Style Pizza Day. Uh,
that is so cool. It's going to be
I
June 23rd, correct?
Yes, June 23rd will be National Detroit Style Pizza Day. So if you're rocking a Detroit style, you got to get in on this action. And I will tell you, they've got some charity work happening with Buddies and some of the other Detroit style spots around the country. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'm glad they're doing that, and we are, more than happy to support that by spreading the word and giving it its due amount of love. Detroit is a great style. It's one of your and my favorite styles, and it really deserves the moment in the sun that it has been receiving for the last several years. We launched a new category at Pizza Expo at the International Pizza Challenge. We have done seminars, workshops, demonstrations on how to do Detroit style pizza. We've written about it in the magazine. It is a red hot style right now, but
Absolutely.
deserves all the attention it's getting for sure.
Yeah. And one thing I love about Buddies is, they are the original and they're sticking to what their
Yeah.
roots are. But guess what? They are growing, which is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes old school spots, they just stay old school with their techniques, but they also stay old school with their growth and they don't necessarily grow. Well, Buddies is turning that on its head and saying, hey, we're going to grow and we're going to hit 21, 22, 21 stores right
Mm-hmm.
now. So they're doing exciting things. So I
Yeah.
think let's just jump right in to talk to Wes because it is a dynamite conversation.
Bacio is celebrating its 10-year anniversary, a decade of exceptional Italian pizza cheese, unmatched consistency, and partners that have become family. If you haven't had the chance to try it, purchase Bacio today and enroll in the Gold Club to receive cash back for every pound you buy. That's right, get rewarded for every single pound of cheese purchased. Schedule a demonstration at baciocheese.com/hotslice to learn more. Pizza is your legacy. Build it with Bacio. Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
So Wes, a lot of things are happening with Buddies right now. Like, you guys are growing. You just had a big anniversary. Tell us about how you just added your 20th and 21st stores?
20th store last week, a full service 7,500 square foot restaurant. And then this coming up Monday, the 18th, we're opening up takeout. We've had takeouts in the past. We've had 3 takeouts prior. But now we're deciding to open up takeouts in addition to the full serve restaurants. I think COVID is kind of shaking everybody up a little bit. I think staffing, the whole industry knows how difficult it is. People should want to make pizzas, right?
Yeah.
It should be hard to hire people to make a pizza. There can't be any more fun than making a pizza.
Yeah. So the one you're getting ready to open up is a completely deviation from your typical model, correct?
Yeah, we opened carryout. We had carryouts probably 25 years ago.
Oh, okay.
When Buddy's started in 1946, part of the restaurant, a little portion of it was for takeout. Because pizza, obviously, people in this area, in any area, takeout is always a big item for pizza, so it made sense. They were smart enough to have a restaurant and a takeout portion. And as we built stores, we created a separate room where the guests could actually come in and have their own pickup experience instead of just running pizzas out of the kitchen, and it gets disruptive with guests waiting. So we created separate spaces. And then along the way, we opened some takeout stores. But, with COVID again, and seeing how takeout was such a huge part of, the industry itself, we decided to do the takeout, but of course we've added more things to it. Now we have Olo for online ordering. We have, DoorDash for pickup, because Buddy's was 99% pickup. So that's fairly new to our business in the last few years, where we've actually done delivery and, online ordering, which has helped the customer base. People want convenience. And we did sort of curbside, where we ran pizzas out to cars. And I mean, it was an unbelievable change in business model in such a short period of time. Because you remember, we're in a state where they closed us, they opened us, they closed us, they opened us. And so the industry, again, people that work here, as you know, are so adaptable. We always make do with nothing, right? That's just kind of the business. So especially pizza operators, they're always struggling. So they're the most creative, and that's what it took to survive. A lot of people didn't survive. So
absolutely.
In 76 years, think about that. A little company like this. I remember going to Pizza Today when Dr. Covey spoke, right? We paid, I think, $75 a ticket, or no, it was less. It was like, I don't know, it was like $20 to see Dr. Covey. And then the year after, it was like $5,000 to see him. And Pizza Expo had him speak when he first came out with his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
And so that's how amazing the journey has been.
That's amazing. Now, I want to go back to your 20th store. That's the one that you just opened, because that's a large footprint. Did you have any hesitation on, how the dining experience is when we're, I don't want to say post-pandemic, but we're in this new state of what the indoor dining scene looks like, or is it just really rejuvenated pretty well with Buddies?
The way we looked at it a little bit is, Buddies has operated a certain way for a long period of time. We had sort of, I don't want to say it's proof of concept, but the restaurants operated and they were successful. Yes, COVID did if you read the trades and you read everything, everyone's like scared and, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. But to me, customers are going to want to be served.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're in a community like Okemos, for instance, where there's a lot of families, there's a lot of schools, there's a opportunity to hire staff.
Mm-hmm.
People still want to go out. They want to sit at a table. They want to share a pizza. They want to share a salad. I think we're hypersensitive right now, and understandably. But I've been in a business myself personally for 47 years, and I have seen where I remember steak restaurants were out of vogue. No one was opening steak restaurant. Next thing, so there's this big void, and all of a sudden somebody decides, Outback decides to come in, let's open it. Now, and everybody's opening steak restaurants.
Yeah.
I believe that people are still going to want to congregate. They're going to want to have drinks. They're going to want to be out with their families. Yes, it's unnerving for how it's been, but I do believe it's like a rubber band. It goes one way and then it goes the other way. Anyone that's been around a long period of time, I've seen the trends. I've seen the different pizza category. I've seen all this stuff happen. I think it's just the normal life cycle of the industry. It's just, this one's a little scarier because obviously it was a pandemic.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Wes, does it seem to you in all your experiences that you just discussed, it seems to me that things always return to a very simplistic form of pizza at some point in time. You know, everyone gets very excited about a certain style of pizza and they jump on that train, but eventually it comes back to old school ovens, old school techniques, pretty basic, straight up old fashioned pizza. It seems like that always comes back to that, to me. Do you see that in your all the years of experience that you just talked about?
I do. I see 100%. You know, when you're a pizza operator, it comes from the heart. I always say that. There's this sort of, that's the magic of what Pizza Today does also, is they always facilitated the individual operators, which is I always loved about that show. It was always, everybody was so helpful with each other. Like with Buddies, interesting thing about Buddies is when we started the pizza, and I started here in 1975, but there were people that worked in this kitchen for 20 years, even since 1946. So you kind of got almost like, you couldn't make a change. So we started with the basic way of making this pizza, right? Our dough was saltwater yeast. It was real simple. You had the dough, you made the dough, you scaled the dough, you rolled the balls, you put them in the pan, you stretched it, you proofed it, you know, with Buddies, pepperoni, brick cheese, sauce on top. That's it. There's no changing from that. There's no, oh, let's try mozzarella. No, it's 100% brick cheese. And if you work with pizza and you don't put oil in the dough, you'll realize how hard it is to stretch that dough because it's a lean dough. There's no conditioner or anything. So that's why there's a double stretch method. So we call it double stretch, and then we have the proofing phase, which again, if you're using, like with Buddies, we use fresh cheese. We still use cake yeast that we get delivered once a week to the stores.
Oh, wow.
So some of it is really old school. We've created specialty pizzas for different tastes, but the way that the pizza or the dough is made is still from when I started here and before that. Now, again, when the industry evolves, people go off and they do their own thing, and it's great stuff out there. That's the beauty of our industry, right? It's the beauty of pizza. There isn't a bad pizza out there, let's face it.
Right.
So really, it's, if you want original, authentic, so then you go we're talking Detroit style now, you come to Buddies, and that is the way. But then if you go to other groups that are making it and they decide to use, let's say, a mozzarella, or they decide to put pepperoni on top, or they decide that they're going to use a different pepperoni or a different style of saucing, right? We always had, you know, the skim method. We skimmed stripes basically, and then when the cheese would melt, the sauce kind of bleeds in. But with the pizza, because you're looking for a light, crunchy crust, you can't over sauce. You can't put the sauce on the dough because then you get a gum line. So there's certain things built into this style of pizza that are unique. Now, as far as, is it going to last? Well, here's the thing. When you eat an original Detroit style, the pizza looks like it's 2.5 inches high. You bite into it, it's like cotton, right? but
my
it isn't
favorite part.
chewy. It should be it's like a light, airy crust. Now, again, that's because it doesn't have the shortening in it, or the oil, or anything else that someone's adding in there. So there is a certain flavor you're looking for, but let's face it, taste change. That's why you have different toppings. That's why you can create a different sauce. But, our history is pretty much embedded, and we do it the way we do it. And I don't think we're looking to make any changes as far as the process for making the Buddy's pizza.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sauce on top. We were talking briefly before we actually started recording the conversation. There are some places around the country who may not put sauce on top, call it a Detroit style pizza. It's Detroit-ish. It's almost Detroit, but it's not Detroit. We all agree on that. Do you have any idea in the original incarnation of this pizza why the sauce was put on the top to begin with? Was there a reason for that?
Yeah, I think
like a real reason, or did it just kind of happen that way?
No, I think there was a reason. I think when we talk about the pizza, and Connie Piccinetto, who's here, Gus Guerrera started it with his wife Anna in '46, but Connie had worked for them too as an employee. She was from Sicily. But I think there's a product in Italy called spiccione. It's sort of like the dough, and then you press the meat into the dough, and then they would maybe parm it or whatever, and then there would be drizzling of olive oil, right? So you get this drizzling of olive oil on top. To me, the obvious answer would be that when you're making this pizza, which was originally inspired that way, you put the pepperoni into the dough, you put the cheese down, and then you drizzle sauce, but not olive oil. So it made sense, but also the way you're trying to get the crust. If you're trying to create a crust that's going to eat like bruschetta, let's say you get bruschetta, know when you bite into that, it's not chewy. It's a grilled, lean dough that, has the tomatoes on top, and you bite it. It has a little bit of the butter, and you grill it. That's that texture. And so the pizza, in many ways, like a bruschetta, it has the shape of, focaccia, which was sort of the square trays that they had at the time. No one had square pans at the time because square pizza wasn't really being made. There's no such thing. You did have the storefront pizzas that were made on the 18 by 26 cookie sheets that they would cut into what they call the Roman style now. A lot of places. Or the storefront, right? In Detroit, there's a million Italian shops when I was a kid coming up where you could go in. They had a bakery, and then they also had pizza sitting there in the thing, and you would get, like Detroit Italian does, or Dearborn Italian does, that kind of pizza. But it's unique, and what it did, not maybe by design, but it didn't create the traditional gum lines that you find in a lot of pizzas. And so, when I get around pizza and someone like some places will aerate the sauce. You aerate the sauce, you put it on the dough lightly, and then it sort of opens itself up. If you don't aerate a sauce and you just put this thick sauce on, and you're trying to make a round pizza, it's not going to have the same characteristics. It's not going to poop out the same way. When you bite into it, it's going to be chewier. So every operator creates their own little secret of how to get that dough to just jump up, and how to get that first bite where it's not gummy and doughy and chewy. But that's when you're looking at Detroit style, that first bite should be a crunch to some extent.
Oh yeah, it has to.
It bites back a little bit, Denise. We've always talked about how it looks
like
heavy
a brick,
as a brick, but it's light as a feather.
And that's how it is.
And the pans have a lot to do with that, because there's not a lot of metal. They transfer all the heat. So what happens is, you get that searing effect. But with brick cheese, and this is where the other probably changes took place, you can melt mozzarella pretty quick. A few minutes and mozzarella is already gooey. I mean, brick cheese, you got to put that thing in there for a period of time. It's just not going to melt as quick. So hence the longer bake times to melt brick. And I'm sure along the way, operators that were evolving this style of pizza said, this is going to be forever. And now we got to take 40-pound blocks, and we got to grind these things every day. No way. So everybody's made adjustments to scale their business. But with Buddy's, because we're when you're original,
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
depart from what got you here.
Yeah.
And it is a labor of love, right? So when you got to sit there and fight with the dough, you got to wait for it to proof before you can use it. And then you're throwing away skins at the end of the night. It's not as
Yeah.
easy as, once a pizza's proofed and then it poofs out, you got to get rid of the dough. So embedded in the system is throwaway skins,
Mm-hmm.
to get the pizza correct. And people don't want to do that. What operator wants to make dough
Right.
straight and throw it away? But again, Buddy's has always made that commitment to the pizza, and that's how we operate. It's a little different.
Absolutely. And you guys, last year you celebrated your 75th year. And in doing that, I saw that you designated National Detroit Style Day.
Yeah, June 23rd. We went out there and we paid the fees, obviously, but we got national. So it's a national moment right on the calendar now, Detroit Style Pizza Day. And we also contacted like Blue Pan and some guys that we know through the years that have either grown up in Detroit and went out and opened up their own places. And there was a few other ones that we contacted around the country at the Gimme Squared. And there were some other ones. And we said, let's designate, since we designated this as National Detroit Style Pizza Day, why don't we all pick our own charities? And everyone picked their charity, and then we donated that day. So, of course, going forward, June 23rd will always be National Detroit Style Pizza Day. Yeah. Listen, if you live in Detroit and you've taken the hits along the way, it's great to have something with our name on it that we can be proud of.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Your football team has been miserable for so long.
Oh, come
Your
on,
baseball
Jeremy.
team.
Come on, Jeremy.
You're being generous,
right, but you got your
Jeremy.
pizza. But you've got your pizza.
You've got the pizza, and you've got the national recognition for the pizza, and even like your mayor designated it, your city council. So, because in some cities there's a huge like trying to find who the original is in some cities is more challenging.
Oh yeah, well I've had conversations with Mark Malnati about their situation there. It's the same thing. Like Mark's dad worked for Uno's, and then they went off, and so there's always that rivalry. I think with Buddies though, there's no ever an argument even from everyone that departed here. Right. And this is the place it was born. And again, it's the love of the city. It's a product that we're proud of. I mean, Motown started here. It's the same thing. You go to their little house over there on Grand Boulevard. That's how it started. It was in a little house. 6 Mile used to be a house. It was a storefront. It was a house. People lived there. Eventually, they modified it, and they put bocce courts in. And there's a whole story here. And this is the thing about the beauty of pizza, the beauty of restaurants in general, is that there's a story. And every independent operator that's mortgaged their house, that's brought the kids in and the wife and the in-laws to work weekends because they're trying to pay bills. Every pizza they make, it's themselves, and they've got their name on the facility. And this is how we always ran our business. Like our name was on the storefront. So we couldn't just run away if we had bad pies because you get phone calls. You'd be in the right. What, our pizza wasn't as good last week. What happened? Did you change the cheese? No, we didn't change the cheese. Like this is the daily ongoings of pizza operators.
Wes, one of the things I love about Buddies and have always, frankly, very much respected about you is what you've just talked about, that you've remained true to yourself, true to your vision, true to your processes and the way of doing things for 3/4 of a century now. What's it like at this stage in your company's evolution to look around and see your style of pizza, arguably the most popular style of pizza in the United States today, the most trending style for sure. What's it like to see pizzerias all across the country now offering and marketing Detroit style pizza?
I think for me personally, it's very rewarding. I mean, I'll be honest, fighting for the processes to stay intact, fighting for the products that someone came to the table with. Why don't we switch this? No one will know. We put the pepperoni under the cheese. Why don't we get a lesser pepperoni? Why don't we, instead of putting 35 pepperonis on it, why don't we put 30? No one's going to know. Fighting that, push for the last 20, 30, 40 years and not doing that and doing the right thing. And those moments of truth that came up and you just fought for the brand, fought for the pizza. I can't even tell you, Jeremy, how exciting it is now to know that that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And now to see other people just take it on. And some of the guys that have taken it on have come through Buddies. They grew up here. They know. A lot of them are just entrepreneurs, just like many people through the years left Buddies, and they opened up places. We had many different places here. We had Cal's, we had Home of the Pizza, we had, there's many that opened up their version of a Buddy's Pizza back then. This was in the 70s. This was in the 80s. This was in the 90s. It wasn't national. Now it's like, wow, you see the headlines. You Google Detroit style pizza. You see a place in New Mexico. I saw a place in South Korea. I mean, there's writers that come into town for the auto show when we have it. And he writes out of a newspaper in Toronto. And then you have, I think it's called Decadent. You have a place in Toronto. I mean, and it's like amazing. And again, it's, you know, they fell in love with that pan, and they got that pan. They say, okay, it's Detroit style, but you know, they're all different. And I've had them and they're great. I mean, again, everybody's pizza is different. I never, you know, I judge a pie by the pie. I don't go, well, this is a knockoff. This is this.
Yeah.
If it's a good pie, it's a good pie. It doesn't matter what you do to it, right?
No joke. That's what I said. Well, and the thing I think about too is that now that it is so recognizable. I mean, you have major chains having a Detroit style pizza on their menu, different things like that. But I think maybe does it help with people going on that pilgrimage to find the original for you as a destination pizzeria? The fact that you have 20 locations, but that they are destinations because people are looking for the original. Do you find that that's helped your growth of being, you know, of being that pilgrimage pie? Or
yes. There's a couple that comes to mind last year. No, it was probably pre-COVID. Couple came from San Francisco. There's people of means, right? They were on a pizza pilgrimage. So they had heard of Detroit style. They came in from San Francisco. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend. They sat up there, and I just happened to be here at the store. And the server came to me and said, they're here, their first time, and they're going all over the world for these pizzas. And so I had a conversation, and they were so in love with Buddies. I wound up giving them a pan each. They took one of our pans out of the kitchen because they had heard about the pans. And it was that, they were that obsessed with pizza. And that's what I mean. Pizza is an amazing thing. I mean, and for Buddies, again, this was a little place on the corner. Literally, the area is abandoned here. It's starting to come back a little bit, but we survived through the 80s. We survived through, you know, 2008. I mean, I can't tell you the hardships that this city has had. We're on the east side where a lot of the neighborhoods have sort of deteriorated through the years. And there's an effort to build them back. But the whole key here now is that in order to be around this long, and I always said this to other people, it's the pizza, but it's the people, right? You cannot survive in business without people. And that's the only thing that saddens me a little bit, is that people are moving away from our industry, which bothers me. This is the greatest industry in the world. I think we're not selling it right. This is more than a job. It's a life experience. And to me, if managers and people out there just sell the job, you're not going to do anything. It's like sell the sizzle. What is great about the industry? It's about working with people. It's about meeting people, working with managers every day. Most of these companies, you're going to see a manager during a hiring process and then you never see them again. You're working with this person every day. You know, there are life lessons that are invaluable. It has nothing to do with an hourly rate. So I was just talking to somebody today from the Michigan Restaurant Association. I said, come on. I said, we're not giving up. People have left the industry during COVID, but guess what? The government said you are essential workers. That's pretty important that you're designated in a pandemic an essential worker. So what does that tell you? It's not just a job. It's a labor of love, and you learn so many lessons in our industry that you will never learn in other companies, because you're dealing with people. And the most complicated thing in this world is how to get along, right? It's not easy. You can throw a pizza together, but to learn how to have relationships with people from a very diverse world, those are invaluable.
Very well said indeed.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love it. The one thing I'll probably try to close out on this question, what is the future of Buddy's Pizza, and where do you think Detroit pizza is going?
Okay, personally, we are growing. Obviously, COVID
Yes.
slowed everything down,
Yeah.
construction costs, the ability to get equipment, everything is
Mhm.
just completely stalled. So that's not, you can have big plans, but you can't get material.
Yeah.
We are going out of state for sure. We're going to
Come to
start
Kentucky. We need you in Louisville.
yeah, we're going to start opening places. We're going to start moving. We opened 8, I think, in the last 4 years, which
Yeah.
is still another 2 we opened during COVID. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely growing. But, to see the business grow, to see Detroit style pizza grow, because it's sort of tied into the city right now. We
Mhm.
have a lot to be proud of here. And I think seeing the whole segment grow and knowing that we had a small part to play and knowing that, this is where it all began, and knowing that for me personally, spending 47 years of my whole life is the only job I had
Yeah.
here. It's rewarding. It's a leap of faith. You take a risk. You don't know where your career is going to go.
Mhm.
It's like for me, and I keep saying this, but it's like Pizza Today. They stay true to their roots. I remember reading Pizza Today so long ago. And I remember when every time we went to the show and talking to individual operators, and we had a few stores, and people had already heard of Buddies a little bit. You'd have that name tag, and they're like, "Oh, Buddies," and it was so rewarding. But Pizza Today has always stayed with the independents, just like Stanislaus. We've used Stanislaus tomato products forever. Stanislaus they send you the prices, so your vendors cannot charge you more because they're one of the few people out there that send the customer the prices. So those are companies that are amazing, and Pizza Today has always stayed with the independent operator. And they have articles about big players, and I get that as a comparison point, but they feature the little guy that's out there, again, with the family, the kids, and the mortgage, opening up his pizza shop, and you open 1 or 2, 3 places. That's a huge success. We were fortunate to partner with Capital Spring, which is an experienced private equity group that sees the sort of the vision for Buddies. They believe in it. They believe that this product, as the way it's done originally, the sort of I'll call it the old style, but it will separate us a little bit. And really, we have to do it that way because that's what Buddies does, and that's who we are. Like, we can't just go off and start doing all these crazy things because we're putting through probably close to 2 million people a year through the restaurants.
Yeah.
That's a substantial amount of customers. We just can't willy-nilly our business and say, "Oh, let's do this." You change one thing, and
They're gonna know.
No, and
Yeah,
kudos to you for that, because
Yeah.
Denise and I, by virtue of what we do, we see
We can
so
taste
many companies that as they grow, they lose themselves.
Yeah.
They do use an inferior product, or
Yeah.
they uh, they stand for less with their service. They downgrade themselves as they grow, essentially, and that's heartbreaking to see, and we hate to witness that.
Yeah.
And the few who do grow without losing themselves, like Buddies, that gets us really excited. So kudos to you for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Tiger said this weekend, you got to get up and fight every day.
Yeah.
He said it right. I mean, there's nothing easy in our business, but you know what?
Yeah.
I found, for me personally, it's worth the fight, and really customers appreciate it, and your customers know. So I think anybody out there, do the right thing and explain it to your customers, because I think a lot of people don't share their business with their clientele. I think it's an important part of being successful is share your business. Tell them about your business. Tell them what makes you special. Take them in the kitchen if you have to. I mean, there's so many things we did through the years that were irreverent and maybe a little bit out of the box. Listen, if someone said you weren't putting enough of this, come on, you're counting the pepperoni. I had people in the basement putting show them that we put the 5x7 pepperoni. You really do this? Yeah, we really do it. Occasionally they grab a plain cheese instead of a cheese and pep, they may. So maybe that's what you had, but it wasn't because we weren't putting, or you hide the pepperoni. You're hiding the pepperoni. No, we hide it because we don't want to burn it, because it's not a curl and crisp. It's more of a leaner, coarse ground that doesn't oil off as much. So if you put it on top, you're going to get char. That's just the way the pepperoni is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, but no, it's all fun.
That's great.
I love it.
That's awesome. So any parting words from you, Wes, before we hop off of this podcast?
No, I personally, for me, I think you just have to value this business and appreciate it and find the joy in it. I mean, to me, that's what it's been about. I mean, you know, I've worked here for this long, and if I was miserable, I would say so. And I've been very happy, even during the most difficult times, but I've met remarkable people. I've had remarkable experiences that I probably could care less what my hourly rate was or what my salary was. I had more fun having more fun in the business when I was making minimum wage, almost than later in life, because it was much simpler, right? You just had fun, and you worked with each other, and you cleaned the restaurant, you set it up in the morning. I mean, I find those things amazing, and I hope that people that have left our industry give it a second look, because I think it provides you something that, you know, an hourly rate's not going to do. So
well said. Well, thank you so much, Wes, for taking time
to come guys, and I appreciate reaching out to buddies, because, you know, hopefully down the road with Pizza Day on the 23rd, the National Detroit Style Pizza
we'll do
Day,
some social stuff, definitely.
Because really, you could put, if anything, you could put a bunch of Detroit Style Pizza operators, especially the ones that are doing the cause event.
Yeah. Send that to me. I would love to get all that information on.
Our people are working right now with the different groups, and we're going to get their charity that they're going to do for the day and things like that. But we really want to push this thing, and really, again, I'll give you guys the credit, because if not for Pizza Today and designating Detroit style pizza as a serious category, this thing probably wouldn't have seen the light of day for a while.
Thank you. I can't wait to push this on the 23rd of June.
I know,
please keep us posted.
That's what moved it. That's what moved it, is when Pizza Today decided to create a category.
Yeah. Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome. All right, Wes. Well, you have a
guys.
Good Monday, and we can't wait to hear more. And so just keep us posted.
Thank you.